little bit in the homework. Let's make the confusion of the people. So here in this question, regarding this question number 3, so now we want to ask if we use arbitrary gap cost. So that means when we say arbitrary gap cost, always we talk about Waterman-Smith-Bayer. Remember this algorithm? This is always work with the arbitrary gap cost. And now the question is, can we implement or can we use the recursion of this algorithm of the Smith-Waterman, which this is Smith-Waterman, the local alignment.
Sorry دكتور.
Sorry?
سميحة كانت ما تقدر تدخل ما جاهر الإيميل فما هي قادرة تدخل على المحاضرة.
ما جاهر الإيميل كيف؟ يعني في مشكلة في البلاك بورد.
طيب عادي بس ترسلي الرابط أرسل لها إياه.
دقيقة أرسل لك الرابط دقيقة. Okay, where is it? Okay, what is that? Sorry, this one. Okay, this is the problem. That is some people. I think there is a problem in the blackboard in the morning. I don't know what happened. People are also try to. Oh, my calendar. Where's the other one? Let me just stop the chatting, please. Can you send this link to the other people, your classmate, which is not attended the class? Maybe they had the same problem. Okay, or I can do one thing. Let me do one thing quickly. Let me do one thing quickly. For example, this is a gear, right? This is a gear. Sections, and then sending email, and then to the all student. Okay, here link. Okay, just get to all of them. Okay, now doing for the. So now I'm doing for the boys, and then I said send email. This is then it will come by email for the all student. Okay. I thought okay. Okay, and then I send this one. Now it will go by email also direct. It will not look for the. It will not look for the blackboard in the announcement. I hope everyone will get it now. Yes, okay. I send it also by email. Okay, let's go back to the homework. So here, some of you, they have a problem with the homework. It's still, it's not easy or it's confusing. So in this question, actually, what we ask, local Smith-Waterman is always we use first similarity. Be aware, we don't use distance, we use similarity because the local alignment. Also, and also we have in the recursion of this, we have something we call it the zero.
Share the screen, please.
Ah, okay, sorry. Sorry, guys. Okay. So now here you can see my screen. So in the Smith-Waterman, always we talk about the similarity, not the distance. This is the one thing. And the second thing in the recursion, we have, this is what di1, dij plus the cost and blah, blah, blah. But we have one extra thing, which is a 0. And 0, that means we don't need to go beyond 0, or we don't want it to go as a negative. So here the trick now for the, if you want to, can we use the same trick for Smith Waterman, for the Waterman-Smith buyer? Yes, we can use it. We can use the same recursion of the Smith-Waterman buyer, and then we add the extra 0, and we are done. This is what we want to do for this question. And also here, for the GOTO algorithm, also now in the GOTO algorithm, we have open gap penalty, and we have extended, and in the GOTO, we have 3 matrices, or in the recursion, we have, for example, dij, which is, it will be now maximum, because we have a similarity, and here also dij will be also maximum, because we want to use Smith-Waterman is a local alignment, and here also. And then we have the other algorithm is ij will be also maximum. And we have also qij equal to maximum, right? But the 0, we don't put it in those, because this is insertion and this is deletion, right? This is the deletion and this is the insertion. We put it in the main recursion, which is this one. That means it will be, we'll put 0 here again. And this is, we solve the problem. That means now this one also GOTO algorithm, yes, can also be possible to use it for the local alignment by just giving a 0 first, and we change the minimum to maximum. That means we have the normal case here, dij plus the cost of ai minus 1, right? Comma j minus 1. And then we have here bij, and then we have qij, and we add 0 here. That means instead of we have 3 different cases, now we have 4 different cases, which is similar to the Smith-Waterman. This is the question. This is how we solve this question. And also for this one, you will use the recursion, and then you will add 0. That means this is here the ij, and it will be first max, because always in the local alignment we use the maximum, we don't use the minimum. And you will put the recursion. The normal recursion came from here, which is, you can see it in the slide of the lecture, and then you put 0 as extra, as a trick, because the main trick for local alignment, we have to put 0, and we have to use max, because we don't want to go to the, and this is how we solve this one. So this is, I hope now is clear. If you have question, just speak up, please. Tell me. This is not, if someone has question. So regarding this question now, someone has said how to identify the 2 most alignment. They are confusing with this one. So how we do it, for example, let's just, we did it in the lecture, but we'll do it again now. So this is the output of the muscle, right? So here it's not easy to identify the most common, or the most closer or more similar sequences. So what we should do, we go to the show the view result, we click here, and then we go again, shows we select the view as we do it in the lecture, and then now this it will highlight, it will give us coloring, and it will highlight how similar those. And here you can see now we have the similar, and here we have the score. So that means this one is 100% similar to itself, and it compare this one with the remaining, and you can see this one is similar to itself, and also this one similar to this one. That means 1, 2, 3, they are very similar to each other, because here something information in the coloring it gives you. In the previous result, it doesn't show this information, but here it tells you how is it, and you can see them here. They said, okay, this one thing, and someone who said, this is here, I cannot use this one. I can also you can use both columns, this columns and this column. So for example, here it should be more high. That means this is how, I mean, this is not 100% similar. They have some area very similar, but the percentage of the similar is 58% because there are something different. But at least they are very similar to each other. Among this alignment, this is the three similar sequences they came, one or the four, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sequences. So now in the muscle, if you run muscle, you will have this result. So how I can use MView? It's easy to use MView. If you go to the result and if you go back here, and then just here, when you click here to convert this to pass this result to the MView, here, and then you select MView. This means it will use the result from the muscle. I will remove this one, and I have two choices. Either I copy this one, I just copy it from here, from this location. I just copy it like this. Because MView tell me that here, it will tell me that enter the protein. Either you can take it from the output of the muscle, or you can upload it if you have it in sequence, or you can just paste it here. But it should be alignment. This is here, it's called, it should be alignment. And then we said, okay, run now the MView in this set of alignment. It will try to highlight the scoring, and then it will give you the same format as muscle. And you can see now they are different. Here we don't have 100%. This is the represented protein. Then we can look for what is the most similar to it. Maybe this one or this one. You can select one of those. They say, or even this one is more, because here we have 95 and here we have 57. That's the most one. Yes, this is the most closer one. 95, and that is, look for something in the cover. It's very similar, and also in the BID is very similar. High score to the one. That means this one and this one, they are the most closer sequencing those two together. And this is we already saw it in the what we call in the lecture when but anyway, and this is the solution. Then you can put the ID of this sequence, take this sequence, or either you put the ID, or you can, because those sequences are in the input, right? In the input sequence here, you can see which one is and then just select the ID. Tell me this sequence and this sequence. By putting the ID, they are the most closer sequences in the muscle, or in the cluster W. Those are the most closer sequences. It is clear now, or you still have question? If someone.
Doctor?
Sorry?
Can you hear my voice, Doctor?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Yeah. Can we use a phylogenic 3 to?
Yes, you can use. Yes. You are right. There is another option.
When I use phylogenic 3, I found another sequence that
yes.
we can.
Yes, you can. This is here. If you go to the phylogenic 3, like this one, you can see my screen now, and then you can say what is the most closer. But here, the problem with the phylogenic 3, you would have either you can select this option with this one, because those are closer, or you can select this one with those. This is too closer, or you can select this or this one with those, and this one with this one. You have more than one option, right?
Yeah, but if you click the real.
If you click the real, it will show you those are
the cheapest one.
Yeah.
I think the AL591, and the second and the third is the cheapest branch. Sah?
Yeah. You can do it if you click. Yeah, there is another more than one way. I mean, this is here sometimes. Sometimes if you have many sequence, you will find even in the real you will find very close to each other. Like then maybe it's not clear for you. But if you use MView, for example, MView it will give you scoring and how cover. For example, now if I use MView for this is the output of multi-sequence alignment from muscle. Just I run it in view. It will give me again result like this. And it's what MVU tell us actually, it will take the most represented sequence based on the alignment, which they call it this one, and it will tell you, sorry, this sequence against itself, it has the coverage and the scoring 100%, and it will look for each one compared to this one, to the most represented sequence in their alignment, and it will tell you this sequence with the second one, it has 95 coverage, and also it has something like this, 56 identical, what you call it, the sequence identical. And then it will go to this one. It will tell you this has 100% coverage. That means when they align it, there is no mutation between those blockades. It's really nice, but they're identical because maybe there is more gaps or it's something different than this. Then you can select those together, this one with this one, or this one with this one, more than one way. So there is more than one way to solve this question. Right.
Okay. Doctor, again, if we look at the cluster W result, the phylogenetic 3 give us more information, I believe. They give us score.
Maybe, yes. You mean in the phylogenetic 3, yes, it will give you a score. So that means not like one only solution. There is more than one solution to solve that. Yeah, just
okay. Thank you.
Right. No worries. So who wants to talk also?
Yeah, Doctor, there is another solution. We can find the identity matrix from the result summary.
Yes, you are right.
Yes. There is a lot of scores. There's a matrix.
For the cluster W?
No, for the muscle here in the result summary.
What was for the muscle? Yes. Let me go to muscle. Yeah, and also in the back and the result summary.
The identity matrix. The last one.
Yeah. Also, it will give you the pairwise similarity between each stage. This is how it will tell you. This is the distance. And easy also you can find it. Because here, this is, 100, this is also the same represented in the alignment. Also, you can do this. So that means more than one way. I like what you proposed, guys. That's really appreciated. That means everyone spent time to figure out the way. Yes, you are fine. I'm just giving you one solution for me. But now it seems that everyone try to look for a different way to do this, and this is fine. And this is the way. Always when you try to understand the tool, just try to navigate the tool. Try to navigate it and try to understand how each of the result came. Yes. Thank you very much. So, it is clear now for everyone? Or still? Okay, so...
Clear, Doctor. Thank you so much.
Okay, good. This is clear. That's good. Thank you very much. So, I think now the second... Sorry, not the second. This one is everyone... This one, everyone here will solve it easily. The last number C. We already discussed it in the class, but everyone, because this is, I think everyone here knows how to do this one, right? Because multi-sequence alignment, we don't have optimal. Why? You have to say at least a few words. So far so good. Let's start with the lecture. Because okay, let me start the recording because it's already recorded. Sorry, I thought it's not recorded. It's already recorded. So today, we'll continue our lecture. Okay, so last time we talked about sometimes that we said the phylogenetic tree, it's not always give us the correct information, not because it has some disadvantage or it has some problem, no, because sometimes there is horizontal gene transform within the organism, and that means some of genetic information going from one organism to the other organism, and that's why it's confused people. And by doing this, that means we have to do another more analysis to say why it is. So on one hand, horizontal gene is good for the bacteria or for bacteria or archaea to see how they are communicating with each other, how they are working in the same environment. This is the community. But something is really, it's sometimes if you want clear picture and give you something like this, it's confuse you. But anyway, just to be aware, So in the future, if you analyze something and then you sit and you expected that there is clear difference between archaea and bacteria right here, but you can see that some of this archaea goes here, a little bit here. That means, they said, okay, is my problem, is the methodist has a problem for the generating and phylogenetic tree, or there is some horizontal gene transform? This is two options for that one. So now we will start about talking about the how we do it, right? The construction, how we will start looking for the phylogenetic tree. So in the phylogenetic tree, the sequence we call it taxa. That means this is the number of sequence, and here this is what we call it also in the any binary tree, we call it label. For example, this is here our label, which is the leaves. Here we have it for the tree, right? And this tree can be also, and let's go to this slide, the last one, and then we can talk about this. Okay, because this is here. So now this phylogenetic tree, it has some definition. It should be undirected. What we mean by the undirected, because it can go from this direction to this direction or the other way around. It should be connected. Yes, and it should be a cycle, and it should be a binary tree. So what here we said if it's undirected, because we don't have like a direct line to go here, and this is just one way to go from this one to this one. No, this is not true in the phylogenetic tree. We can compare, or we can compute what we call it the distance, or how the evaluation happen, or how the similarity, or how the probability between different branch. Maybe I can compute between this one and this one. I go from here to here. This is also allowed. Okay, so this is the first one, we call it undirected. That means it just can be go for both ways. So, and also it can be connected, which is also, it should be connected, right? It should be connected, but it should be a cycle. Means here you cannot go like from here to here. You cannot make an edge came from here to this one. No, it's not possible. Or you cannot make another edge came here from here to here. This is a cycle, means it's not possible to have it. Of course, to make sense for us, we try always to have it as a binary tree, but sometimes it's not easy to have it a binary tree, because we have sometimes some exception. But for now, so far, for the ideal way, or for the optimal way, we call it it should be a binary tree. This is just the feature of the phylogenetic tree, but also it has some properties. For example, leaf or external node of the degree 1, or the other one is the internal. That means here we talk about the need, and also that's also the leaf of the degree 1. This is one thing. The other thing, it should has really a node for the root, because this is the most important, because the way people they assume, or the data they assume, that says they have something ancestor, that means there has a common ancestor, and then the genetic flow from the father or from the grandfather to different generation. This is the assumption always for the phylogenetic tree, and that means always they will say, okay, maybe first he has 2 children, and then in the 2 children, that means, because in bacteria always when they divide into 2 bacteria, not like more than 2. Just if someone is say, we are human, in the human we have, for example, some family that they have more than 2 children. True, but this is when they do it in the single cell. Normally, for example, archaea, bacteria, or other cells, when they divide as 2 cells, not more than 2 cells at a time, right? And that's why here they assume it should be a binary tree, just to know what's the logic, because when we call it as a binary trees here. So now also there's some information about here. I think everyone knows that this is, as we can say, as a graph, and also we can say this is also a semantic graph. If you go from the mathematic formula, we can say define it as a graph. It has some the edge, of course, and the vertex, of course, for the node, and that's clear for everyone. And also we have to say a symmetric. That means if you say x and y, for example, belong to the vertex of the graph, then also it's implies that also it implies what? It also implies that it's same y and x also, that's okay, belong here. It's also belong to the E. That's if you go from this direction and this, because we say undirected graph. So that's also, it's fine. This is just some properties. So the most important for us is first, it should be, can be a taxa, which is now each sequence. We don't call it sequence, we call it just a taxa, which is in the leaf, and it has these properties of the degree of the internal alignment. That means each node, it has just to go to one before. It cannot go from here and here together in the same time. No, the internal node or the leaves here, they go just to one above or connected with one further before, because this is fulfill the binary. Okay, so now we talk about two things of the trees. We have undirected, not undirected, unrooted trees, and we have a root trees. So now, for us, if we, let's say we have this one, yes. So let's just say, now for us here, if we have such trees, or we have such taxa, we have A and B and C. This is our taxa. So now, how many possible trees I will have it? I will have this all combination of these trees, because I have 3 taxa or 3 sequence, for example, and always I will have this combination. So this is because if I have 3, then I have this different combination, right? And then you can see the root is different from here, and the root is different from here, and this is every time the root is changing based on the, if you construct the 3 in this way or in this way. But what is the correct one? The question, how I transform the unrooted trees to a root tree? If there is a way to do it, or just I can select random. No, there is a way to do it. Actually, there is a way to do this here. So the first thing in the way they told you, you have to identify, if we have, for example, the tree, we have to identify, like, for example, let's say here, let's just delete this one. You have to identify a new branch, which should be somehow outliers for this tree. Maybe if I select here some point, and then I say this is here is an X. So that means I introduce a new branch or new taxa, and then I connected with the tree. I connected here, or I could connect it in this direction, or I could connect it in any direction. And this should be outlier from the tree. When I mean outlier, means if those are sequence, they have some related sequence, they are close to each other, right? I should select something, I put the new sequences far away from those. And that's why we call it outlier need. So once we have it, then it's easy to make a root by just flip, as here the outlier, this is here, he call it B, for example, here I call it X, doesn't matter, and this is here now, he put the outlier is close to the C, for example, in the C, then he can say, okay, take it up, if you take it, this is up, then it will be, this will go down, and this is what we look here, that means this area, it will go like this, and we know that C and D are very close to each other, then it will be always C and D. And then after that it will become in the top of them is C, and it will come the outlier is the D or the X. So this is how we do. So this is important. You have to be aware. If we said how to go from unrooted tree to the rooted tree, just by introduce first one outliers, and then we put it in any direction. For example, in this example here, I put it in the B. In the slide, he put it close to the C. Doesn't matter, but both of them, and this is the easy way to do it. Of course, there's another algorithm, they can't optimize this, but for us, for now, this is important to understand only this one. Right. So the question coming now, how to calculate the number of trees, which is producing here, if you have a set of taxa or a set of sequence or the taxa, how to say what's the number of trees. There is a theorem. We are not going to prove this theorem, but we can use it just for the basic, for demonstrate one thing to see it how this theorem is working. So this is the equation. No one will ask you about understand this equation, but this one is important for us. Only this equation. I will not ask you about this is how to prove it or how we came from this, but I will ask you maybe to understand this one equation. So what is how to say it, how this is to define the number of binary trees here, if I want to find it by giving us n taxa, because it will be given n taxa. So the first easy solution, if we said our taxa n is equal to 2, that means we have just A and B. Just we have A and B sequence, right? Or as a taxa we have A and B. So that means I want to see, then this is the best of the optimal solution. The first we said if taxa or the n is equal to 2. So this means what is here, it just is, I can apply a plug here, it will be here, it will be I equal to 2, and n now we have 2, it will be 2, and then it will be here 2 multiplied by I is 2 minus 3, and then it will be 1. And that's why I prove it now, and I said this is concept is working, or this theorem is working. If I have n is 2, then I have only one possible of the taxa of the generating or number of trees by giving the number of by giving n taxa. So if n is 2, then I have just only one tree, which is fine. We don't have any solution, right? If I have, for example, now n is 4 or 3, for example, then it will be also, again, I can apply the same formula here. It will be I equal to 2, n is 3, sorry here, 3, and it will be, here we have 2 multiply by 2, right, minus 1, minus 3, right, and this will give us what here? First, it will give us 1.
1 and 3.
Yes, and then I will increase it now. It will be, this is for the, and we start from 2, but now we have to go do the summation again, and then it will be here, again it will be 2, and this will be 1 and 3, which is, you can see it here. So if you have 3, then it will have, you will have 1 and 3. If you have 4, it will you will have 1 and 3 and 4 and 5, sorry, and so on. This is the way. So this is just the easy way to say compute the number of taxa, and this is important for me. I want you to at least understand this formula to just compute. And if I give you number of n, and I will ask you what is the number of trees generated by the taxonomy, just apply this here. Okay, so here again, just at least let's say in this way. Here, it just if you want just for induction, if you want to approve this one, it's also to just see what is the number of edges here. He go from the induction and he say, assuming we have the tree of n, which is rotated binary tree with the n leaves, and this is the length of the trees, right? And this here now, he wants to say what is the size of the data, or what's the height. Otherwise, say what's the size, or what's the number of trees, or what's the height of the trees here. So here for each of these trees, exactly we have, for each of these trees, exactly we have 2n minus 2 edges. How we know this is exactly? This is here. He said exactly. How we know is we have 2n minus 2 edges here. How we know? Well, actually, is if we have a binary tree, then the number of leaves will be, if we have a binary tree, always the number of leaves, if you have a binary tree is n, the taxa is n, then the number of leaves is maybe n minus 1. Actually, this is, I think everyone agree with me, this is in the binary tree, right? So now we can do like this. We can say, if we have always like this, right? If this is our binary tree, let's assume we have this is binary tree here. So, and this is here. So now those are the leaves, and we know that this leaf always, yes, and if we search for the leaf edge, here, you can say this is always, this one is go here, and this always goes here, right? This is other possible. This is the possible we have. This one also goes here, and this is also goes here. And the root, it has -1 edge because it doesn't have anything before. We call it -1. This is has 1. This is has 1. This has 1. This has 1. Right? Is this clear, right? Because the root I called -1 because it doesn't have anything here, and because this is has only the internal, and the internal also you have to keep into mind that the internal nodes also have only one edge, because this is our internal node. This is the one is internal node, and this also no, this is not internal node. Only we have this, and this has only one edge. That's our internal node. If I have any internal node, it have only one edge. Okay, but the leaves has, it came from different, either left or right. So now this is and also the root does not have any edge, which we call it -1 here. So now, so in principle here we have to, for each taxa n edge, right? From the leaf we have n-1 edge. Okay, so and the internal node also have, so and no, for the, sorry, this is here n-1 for the internal node, n-1, sorry, for the internal node. For the taxa we have n h. This bad color. Let me just remove this color. It's really a bad one. Yeah. So we'll have edge for n taxa, we have n edge. For the internal node, we have n-1 edge. For the root, we have -1. And you can apply it here. You can say, okay, for each leaves or each taxa, which we have here one, let's say B, C, we have one edge, right? Okay, for the internal node, we have n-1, because at least it will be here n-1. We have internal node. And for the root, we have -1. Why? Because the root doesn't have any edge to go further up, right? So that means, and then if you sum up here, you will have 2n, right? -1, -1, and you will be have 2n-2 edge for any taxa of this. And this is here, we just demonstrate how we do it. So I will not ask you how we prove it here, but just I will wanted to show it how we do it. So now we know how we came with the, or any taxa or any tree, it has n taxa, then the side of edge it will be 2n-2. And this is clear here because this is a small example, and you can apply if it's you have a long tree. For example, if you have really long tree, you will have the same thing. Like for example here, other trees, and then you have here, it will be always the same thing. For example, you will have the same thing. That means now our leaves here, it will be, those are our leaves. That's this one, this one, this one, and this one. It's our taxa or our leaves. And then it will be always we have n the leaves, number of edge from the leaf n. You can see it clearly. And then you have n-1 from the internal node, and you have -1 for the root. So this is how it is. So now the question is, if I have such tree here, let's delete one here. If I have such tree here, question is, if I have this tree, right? If I have this is tree here, and this is here the root, and this is here, say A, B, C, D, E. And now I have a new, let's say X taxa, I want to add it to this tree. Where should I add it? There's more one possible. I can add it here, for example, right? I can add it here. I can add it here. I can add it between those. I can add it here. I can add it here. Or I can also add it here. And this will be X, right? So this is here how we add, how if we have a new, for example, if we have a new taxa or a new sequence where we can add it. And here it will add it. That means this is if the length of the taxa here, what's the length of here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I want to make it to bigger to have 6 taxa instead of 5. And then there is more than possible way to do it. But what is the possible way? What is the good way to do it? Actually, they told you have two things to do it always. You have to consider all possibles, the edge here you will add it, and you can see what is the distance between those and the similarity, and also you have to take in at what is for each one what was the median edge. And this is you can add it as I said, we can add it here in the middle as before in any places, or I can add it after the root, before the root. And this is the way. That means generally it's possible to add it where, but it should be also taken into consideration later how are similar the new sequence it will come to here, because here this sequence maybe is outliers, maybe far away from them, or maybe it's closer. Then you have to put it in the right direction. So that means there is no other just one possible. No, there is more than one possible to reconstruct this tree by adding a new sequence, and then it will look like this. This is one option. And then you have to keep calculating where is the correct position. So this is just we are not going to prove this one. And also this is the proof here when he said this is here, it should be always additional. We have some root, because if you go up, I'm not going to ask you to prove. The main thing for me, I wanted to understand this one, which we already demonstrated as in a small example, and the other one is the number of trees here, this one, when we calculated. Those two things is very important for me. I wanted to understand it and also apply it later. So I'm not going to, this is how to prove it. We are not going to prove how this is similar to this one. No, I will not go into prove it. It's not make any sense for us to prove it. We don't need it for proving. So now we have two ways. When we look to the phylogenetic tree, we have two ways to do it. In generally, we have two ways. We have the UPGMA. The one is just here to calculate, or we'll do it today, or we have something we call it maximum likelihood estimator. We have the maximum likelihood estimator, and we have UPGMA. So what's the difference with both? So both of them is still working. Many people, they use this one and this one. So the first one here, we don't need any information about what the sequence, which is the taxa. We need only just the distance tree. Because you remember, in the multi-sequence alignment, we say if we want to generate the guide tree, which we call it the guide tree, we need to transform or convert the similarity to distance. So now, in any phylogenetic tree, if you have distance matrix, it's fine. If it's not, then you have to convert your similarity matrix to the distance matrix. So this is here the similarity, and then you have to convert it to the distance. And in this version of UPGMA, this is UPGMA, you don't need any information about how the sequences look like, what is this, what's from where they came, if it's a protein or DNA or RNA, we don't care. We care about give me the distance tree. That's enough for me. It's very simple. It is very general. People, they use it always. And also sometimes it has somehow, let's say, outlier about the distance topology. Sometimes depends about the matrix. If your matrix have something like minus or something, then it's really, this is the disadvantage. And it's not actually measure the evolution distance, as they said. It's not actually, because why it's not actually? Because it doesn't take into account what type of sequence it came. If this is protein or RNA or DNA, it doesn't get taken into account. This is here the disadvantage. If you look to the other one of the construction of the phylogenetic tree, which is from Phylogeny, this is the famous one, the theory. I mean, there's more than one version of this one, more than one version of this one. And we use both of them. This here, it taken into account, it doesn't need distance metrics, they need the actual sequence, the original sequence, the input sequence, and also it will take you also, there is a gap free, and it will take multi-sequence alignment. So that means there is no given distance metrics, we didn't need it here. It's somehow tried by using, you remember we have band metrics, because they use here band metrics, or below them, the matrices, they are try to look for model evolution between the alignment, because you remember from those matrices, they compute it also. Also, they can try to calculate the maximum likelihood by looking how to put them in the right direction. If they are very close, they try to really optimize this way. And also they use something we call it Markov processing as the evaluation. That means from one stage to other stage, what is the most probability? So this is here, it's people somehow, if you have really important analysis and you want to see really somehow based in the evolution model, and you want to see those are sequence special in the protein or in the ribosome is 16 sRNA, the ribosome, last time we talked about it, 16 is sRNA, sRNA, you should use this. But the problem with this, it's really need a comprehensive computational. That means if you have a really big sequencing, it will take a lot of time and you need a lot of resource. So those are the main common approaches people use so far until now. From even there, this is some people say, oh, this is very old. No, it's still valid because the theory behind it is still fine. And this is even someone they say, oh, this is old. It's still no, it's still valid. But they have improving some version. But the concept of the theory is the same. So, so why I have this? This is wrong. Why I come this again? Okay, let's start by looking for the phylogenetic tree. The phylogenetic tree always it has it needs, as we said, the distance matrix, and this is here our distance matrix, for example. Now, if we have this is our taxa or our sequence, and the distance matrix is can computed by using Berwa's alignment. It can compute by giving anything, right, guys? This is here just we're building now everything one by one, and you can use it here by using any alignment here, and you can distance. And now this is our matrices here. So in this here, you can use this matrix or this is there some equal. This is, I think the people from mathematics they normally use. This is the math people. They try if you look for relational algebra or the calculus always it looks like here, but if in the computer science normally we use like this. But anyway, those are here the matrix. So once we have this matrix, now we can also construct the phylogenetic tree, and we can construct it. It will look like this. So now if we look to this here in the construction, so this is the phylogenetic tree. It looks like here. This is the correct one. But how we came with this one? So normally you look to the distance matrix between both sequence here, which is select the closer sequence, and you can see the closer sequence or the minimum value here between two sequence. We have C, right, and D. This is here, and you can see it here. So this is, by the way, this is just a semantic. That means this is here always 0. They are exactly the same because distance 0 means we are talking about the distance, right? And that means here you can see it is always this one. And this is here you can see it clearly. That means the smaller distance it will be between A and between D and C. And then you can say, okay, initially if I have such taxa, it will look here. In the beginning it will look like here. We have A, B, C, D, right? E. And then now this is here the initial one. This is the input or in the input sequence or the input taxa. And then you look what's the closer one, and then you said, okay, those are the closer one here and the distance here. Now what you did actually, we take the distance, minimum distance here between between C and D, and you divide it by 2, and you give this value here. So 2 divided by 2, it will be here 1. This is here the length of the distance between going from D to C, and also here you will have 1. That means in both edges of both branch, you have to take the minimum distance from the between C and D, and then divide it by 2. So now we have here so that means this result, it tell you how completely I'm going from here. What's the time take me to go from this one to convert from C to D? That means I have to go 1, and then I have to go another one. This will be 2. That's why we divided by 2. This is here the one. Let's take, for example, if I want to go from here to here. If I want to go from A to D. So I will say, okay, from A to D, it will be the distance from A to D. For example, the distance from A, D, D, not D, D, equal to first 3 plus 2 plus the other 2 here. And then I came here plus 2 again, plus 1. And then we'll be here 3, 5, right? And then we have here 7, 9, 10, right? So now look here, from A to D. What's the value? 10. Can you see it, guys? Hello?
Yes, doctor. Yes, doctor.
It is clear, right?
Yes.
So now any path is selected to go from here to here. It should be also represented in the edge or in the branch, and also represented in the distance matrix. For example, if I said also I want to go from C to D, we already saw it. If I want to go from the path of the, for example, here, the distance, which is normally, this is wrong, which should be, I should tell, this is here, the distance of the matrix of the T. It should be the distance. So, for example, if I want to go the distance of the branch of the T matrix from, for example, from A to E, will be here. Again, 3, the first one, plus 2 here, plus another 2 here, plus another 3. And it will be 6, 10 again. And this is also again. So this is represented, what here also represented in the branch. And now you know that's always this is how we do it. So you don't know how we construct this, but this is how it's already built it. But we will go in the next few slides, we will go how we construct this based in this one, how we select the first one, how we calculate with those distance. Because this is not this is the final distance that we call it. This is the final distance. It will change from time to time, this distance, because based in the tree, it will change from time to time. But anyway, so this is so far is okay, guys? Because in the exam or in the exercise, I will give you something like this, and then I will ask you to build a tree or compute the path going from one direction to the other direction. And you can do it like this. Okay. So now, yes. Who's speaking? I cannot hear you.
Yeah, it's clear.
It's clear, sorry. Okay, then fine. Sorry. Good.
Doctor,
Yes.
you started with C and D. Shouldn't you go to the next smallest, which is close to C and D?
Yes. We will do it. Now I show you how we start with C and D. Yes, of course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You are correct. First, we take the smallest. We start by the smallest. Yes, you are right. That means I start with we should normally, if I want to build this tree from just, I know how to build it, but normally what I will select first, you will select C and D, the smallest, and then you will select the other one is A and C, because also smallest, A and C is the sixth one, right? And then you can do whatever. But sometimes you cannot select A and C. You can say C and D, and there is something, because you have to update your matrix. You will see it in the next two slides. You will have to update this matrix. Maybe this one, there is something came smaller than this one. But anyway, I will show it in the next slides. So now, what we call it here? Let's say this matrix, it should have some properties, the phylogenetic tree, which we call it metric. So what is the metric actually? The first thing, it should be altometric. When we call altometric means, if you go back here, let's clear this. If you go back here, that means the way from the road to to any path, it should be similar. So now, if I'm going from here, from the road to A, what is the length here? We have 5. The height is 5, right? Because we have 3 plus 1 is 5. If I go from here to here, what's the length also? I will have 5. So that means also the length of the matrix is also here 5, the height. So if I go to any position from here to here, also I will have 5. So that means if you go for all possible from the root to any leaves, and it has the same height, which is, this is the height, the same number, like for example in our case here we are 5, then we call this attribute is altometric matrix. Sorry, here. Yeah, we call this altometric. That means the distance from the root to each leaf is same, right? But sometimes you will have matrix here. Maybe if this is 2, that means from here to here is 4, the length, and from here to here is 5. Then this is not fulfilled or not satisfy this what we call it, the distance altometric. That means we call it the distance, or we call the phylogenetic tree is altometric if this condition. And this is important for me to understand this one, which is, I think, clear for that. So by using this altometric, then we have to have actually 3 different attributes here, right? We have the 3-point attribute condition, if you want it to be altometric, and we have another attribute, we call it additive matrix. So the 3-point condition, it tells you here in generally, that means if you can assign any of 2 distance, it should be less than the last 3 distance. That means, remember, if we have just this is, if we assign this 2 distance, those together, it should be less than the 3 distance. We will have example to see how we apply this. The condition, the 3-point condition. The other, this is what shall be satisfy the matrix. The other one, it's actually is less than this one. Yeah. The other one is we call it additive. That means it have 4-point condition. The 4-point condition that it tell you here, for any similarity or for any 2-point here, you have to have all the combination about all the taxa from it has give you the same sum, and they are 2 equal or not less than the 3rd one. This is here the other condition. And here you can see we have, for example, if you have x, I1 and I, j, k, l, then you can see the whole combination. We say I and j plus the distance of the k and l. Or we can I and k, there is another combination plus the distance of the I, j and l. Or we have another combination. We have I and l plus the distance of also j and k. And those is just as the attribute for fulfill the altometric distance of the the matrix for the computing the phylogenetic tree. So now, how we actually the algorithm is working? It's very simple. The algorithm is phylogenetic tree. How it's working? It's very simple. It's just, for example, first, what is the shortcut or what's the stand or the acronym for this UGBMA? It's just unweighted pair group method with the arithmetic mean. This is what's here. So what's here, how is working this algorithm? Actually, the idea is we start by unit of the clustering. One cluster, for example, if we have those as a taxa, and then we say this is first one cluster, and then we can say, or those can become another cluster, and this becomes so another cluster, and then we can say this is another cluster. So this is the way we can just always try to look for two pairs or 2 points, and then we cluster together, and also we can compute what is the average between them, how we are closer between those distance pairs. This is the idea in general, and we incorporate the average or the size of the cluster in the unweighted join. This is here the unweighted join because we call it UBGMA. There is another version we call it where weighted with the W. This is called UPGMA. There is another one, it's called W. Another version is W, that is weighted PGMA. This is just two versions. This is weighted and this is unweighted, and it's different by here we can take the average, and the other one is taking not the average, taking into account how many elements, which is we are not going to cover this one. This is just the concept between this. So if let's say here, let's go fast here to the, I don't want to go just the algorithm here, yes, because we have done example and we are done with this one. So now here the matrix, how is working this matrix? You can see it's just is working here as here. First you have the distance trees, right? Yes, we have the distance trees here. It should be a distance tree which is the n taxa. And now we have the initial set of the constants of the all here. For example, if we have the n is, for example, is 4, then we said, okay, we have 4 points. For example, if I want, which is each point is, for example, one sequence and one ever or one protein or one RNA, and then we look for the distance, and then we try to find what is, we compute all distance metrics for all the possible here by doing pairwise alignment as we do it before. We look for the all possible. Then we have to have the D matrix or distance matrix, right? Here our distance matrix for each here. So once we have the distance matrix, now we want to build the phylogenetic tree. How we build it? First we have to look what is we take each pair, this is just we can repeat it n-1 time, which is here, it should be linear, right? This is the time consuming here is a linear because n-1 time. And then you can say determine the cluster, that means the closer two pairs together such that the distance is the minimum. And now we can say, okay, if I find based on the distance matrix here, I found the very closer one, and then I said, okay, I select this here, and now when I select the closer one, then I define the new cluster. And now instead of giving the name of C and D, I will have a new name. Maybe I will call it E. For example, now here I define a new name for A and B or C and D. This is when I cluster together. Then instead of calling them C and D, then I have a new name is E, which is normally when I put it together like this, that means this it will be the E, which is now the distance. The new distance should be updating here. So once I do this, first I can put the distance of C and D here, which we saw before, just the D minimum divided by 2 between C and D. This is C and D. So once I do this, now I want to compute the distance now between, for example, between the new node A with the remaining, which is what's the remaining? A and B, for example, because we assume here we have just A, B, C, D 4 points. Now I first build the first, or I cluster the first 2 nodes together, and this is I give the distance between them in the edge, and now I want to recompute the distance between the A respective to the A and B. So I have to, how we do it? We have to do it with this formula. That means now our A is this one with the F, which is first F is A. I will do compute the distance between A and A. In this case, here A, and then we'll see what's the distance. It will tell you what's the length of the C. C here is just one node. It will be the length is one because it's not. It is in the initial just one node, and then I will see what is the distance between distance between C and F. What's the actually distance between C and F, right? And then plus the distance between the second node is D and the F here, and then divide by the length of C and D. So this is how we do it, and then we keep updating this or repeating until we finish. So let's demonstrate this in one example and it will be clear for you. So now if we have this example, this is our distance matrix, right? And now what we have actually, we have this our taxa. Can you see them here, right? So now I want to just do what I want to build. This is our phylogenetic tree. So the first thing what I will do, I will look what's the smaller distance. So the smaller distance here, for example, between those, it's here, 2. Between C and D. So what I will do is I have a branch between C and D. This is the first case. And then I have to calculate the distance. That means dm minus 2, it will be here 1. And this is here 1. This 1 and 1 came from where? From this form.
C and D. You put it in T and E.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Yes. This is here. Will be here 1. And this node, I call it E. So now I have to update this matrix. How I want to update it? Because now I have a new node. I want to see how the distance between E and A, how the distance between E and B, right?
And should we use F because we have E?
Oh, we have F here. We have. Let's say we use. This is, you're right. We just use F or X or whatever. Let's say this is F. Yes. And what is the distance between F and A, F and B, and F and E? Because those are now we don't need them. They are gone. Now F is represented them. F is represented. Right. So that means I have to put here F. When I put it this like this, I have to put F. And then I have to calculate the score between A and F and A, right? So what I will do actually, will use this here. So I will say the distance, right, between F, comma A equal, here now distance between F and A, I want to compute, it will be
1.
the length of C. C, how many points in C you have? I just have 1 point. It will be 1 plus. What is the distance between C and A? What is the distance between C and A? Here, this is
10.
Here I need the distance between C and A, it's 10, right? From here, plus the length of D is just 1 point, it will be also here, 1. Multiply, this is multiply, not plus. Multiply the distance between D and A, it is also 10, right? D and A 10, right? And C and A 10. Then here, divide, then I will divide by the length of here is 1, plus 1. So it will be here 20 divided by 2. It will be 10. So now I will put here 10. So the new distance is 10 here, and I will put here 10. So now I did it between F and A. Now I will do it again between distance between F and B. The same way, I have to apply this formula. Okay, so now again I have C. Actually, it will be, what's the length of the C? C is 1 point. It will be 1 multiplied by the distance between C and B. The distance between C and B is 10 here. It will be 10, right? Plus the length of the second one, the length of the for example, the D, 1 multiply by the distance between D and B. D and B also is 10. So we divide by the length of C and D is 1 point. 1 point, it will be 2. It will be also again 10. So now, okay, I give here again 10. Between F and A, 10. Between F and B, 10. And between B, A and F, 10. Between A and F, 10. So, and then this are delete them, we don't need those are. That means now you update your matrix, that means those are gone, we don't need them, right? So now I will look about to the, what is the smaller distance between any node here? Who will tell me what's the smaller distance between whose? Between here in this matrix, what's the smaller distance? Between, we have 6.
6, AB.
Then we will have AB. And let's say we call it, this is X now, for example, whatever, right? And now I want to compute the distance between A and E. Right? Yes.
Why we not calculate F and E?
F and E. Look to the, you say F and E, what is the distance between F and E? With here, yeah, sorry. We have to calculate this one. I forget this one. This distance, sorry. Yeah. This one. Distance between F and E. Also again, yes, you are right. I forget this one. Okay, now first it will be 1 multiply. What is the distance between here? It will be between F and C, it will be 6, right? This one 6 plus 1 multiply between D and E is 6 again, and then divide by 2, it will be 6, right? Because that's 12 divided by 2 is 6. That means here I have 6. And here I will have 6. This is here, right? You are right, I forget this one. Okay, so now after I can update this, I will look, what is the smaller? We have two things now smaller. Either I start, after I compute this one, we have two options. Either this is smaller between F and E, and this is smaller between A and B, right? It's clear, guys? Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, doctor.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you can choose one of them. Let's say we choose this one. You can choose one of them. You can choose either this one or let's start by this one. Now when we start this one, let's say we call it, this is for example, X, and now we have to repeat the same thing here, the same combination. So we will repeat this one. This one it will be easy to repeat it. This one it will be easy. Why? Because what is the thing? It will not change too much here. Then I have X here and I have X here, right? So now I will calculate the distance between, let me clear this one.
Doctor,
Yes.
shouldn't you put the distance like 3 and 3?
Between?
I mean, A, B, and X.
A, B, and X. Yes,
I mean,
I should put this. Yes, we should put the distance. It will be 3 and 3. Yes. So now I will do X with, for example, the distance of X. Okay, here. Just to see the formula, that everyone see the formula again. Sorry. Take time this, but this is, because this is, you should understand it here. Just like this distance between X and, for example, E, the first thing, and then it will be here, what I will have will be 1. The length of A is 1, and then I will look what is the distance between A and E is 10, right? 10 plus 1, the distance between B and E is also 10, right? Divided by 2, because length of A is 1, length of B is 1, is now 2, and then at the end I will have 10, right? Then this is now, we have 10, sorry, guys, you are not with me, you are sleeping, right? We have here, this one, we'll have A, X, and A, it will be here 10, this one. And now I will do it again, and this is here, it will be also 10. Between A and X. And then I will do it again between, for example, distance between the second one, it will be between, the other one is here, I will have between B and X. And since they are again the same, it will be also 10. And then I will have it. So this is also again, and 6 and 10, this is here how we do it in the first step, which is this one. And the second one, we do this one. And then we say here 3. And now, here the trick now. The trick here now, you want to connect, first you will connect this one, not a trick again, just so. You will look for what is this smaller, you will choose this one, which is between A, and that means you will have to do like this, A. Right, and this you will do it here. And then you can compute the distance. So now, how we can compute this with this together? So be aware, that means what is the length here? The length is 2 here, right? Because here the length, in the beginning, if just 1 point, we call it 1. But now here, the length is not 1 point. It came from here, is the length of the G is 2. So what's the length of here? Who will tell me? How many points here? 3.
Right?
No, the length, the size.
4.
3. This is 1. That means here, this is the length when I'm talking about. For example, here is, you can see it, if it's in the beginning, just 1 point, that means the length of 1. Here, just 1 point is the length of 1, but when we go here, now the length is 2, which we saw it here. Fine. So here, just 1 point is the length of 1. If I'm here, then the length is 2. But now, when I increase it to here, I have 2 points here and 1 point from here, it will be what? 3. And this is here, it will be, this one is 3, and this is 2, the length. That means when we calculate, we change, this is from 1 in this formula, this it will be here 3, and this will be 3, and this will be, for example, this is 3, and this is 2, and this is 3, and this is 2, or the other way around. We can just say this is 2 and this is 3, because this is 2, and this is 3, and this is 2, because I want to connect why I put it 2 and 3, because I want to connect here A and B, and we know in this, which we call it G, A and B, it's 2 element. And then I have another one, which is here, we call it F. It has C and D, which is here 2 elements, C and D. And this is, we already connected with the D. Then it's here has 3 elements. It's a C, D, E in this point. So now when I want to connect this one with this one here to compute this point, then I have to take into account what's the length of here, and this point is 2. What's the length of this point is 3 elements. And this is how we do it. You can see it here. And now at the end, we have the way. And this is, in the exam, I will give you something like this. Or in the homework, I will give you something like this. And I will ask you to reconstruct the tree and give me the all steps, which is just you have to follow the same formula. Just here, it will change the length based on the number of taxa. That means in the initial one, it will be all or R1. But when you go one level up, it will have to account how many elements came to this point. For example, this point is 2. But if we look here, this point, it came 2 elements from here, and 1 from here, it's 3. Okay. So this is here, and then this will stop. And this is here, we stop. We finished how we construct the phylogenetic tree. Does anyone have any question regarding this one? So this is the way, when you see it in multi-sequence alignment, they use the same concept. Of course, there's another algorithm, they take in sequence into account, but those are, that means the distance matrix, you have to always you have to update it and update it. So that means those are not anymore. We don't have A and C. We have our final distance matrix. We will not have any C anymore. Then those are. And then you can see here, this is here is 3, right? And this is here 1, and this is here is 2. For example, this is here is 2. Here the complete because here, and this is here is 3, and this is here is 1. And then you can see this is always 5, the length. Yeah. This is, we go 3 to 5, 3 to, no, this is 3. No, this is here, yes, 3, and this is here, yes, and the 3 to 5, 1, 2, here, this is, sorry, 2. 1, 2, 3, 5. This should be 2. Yes. And now you can see, you can check it, it's the same. And those are automatic trees. So I think now we're almost 1.5 hours. Do you think we can take one extra half an hour, or you are tired and you are enough with this? What do you think, guys? Can we take one?
Yeah, but I think it is bright time now. فلكن المغرب الحين يا دكتور.
Okay, then so we stop. I need to, because the problem. Just I will tell you. There is one problem I will tell you. In 13, I will not be there. That's the problem for me now. They told me in 13 I'm flying back. It will not be. I will not be. I thought I will fly back in 12 in Saturday, but now I'm flying back in 13, and maybe I will miss the lecture in that day, and that's why I want to do it. Do you think if we just for half an hour, even we can just finish something, or if it's not, then we can skip it. If you are always tired, or we can have a break and then we continue within half an hour. We just take 10-minute break.
Yes,
I think
it works for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's go for we'll come at 5:10 is fine after 10 minutes.
For me, okay.
I think it's better to rearrange the schedule because I have another schedule up to 8. Else we can after 8 or 9 maybe.
No, it will be difficult if we go back again after 9 and 10, because, so, I mean, listen to the recorder. If you are only the one, listen to the recorder. And if you have problem, we can also talk. Let's take 15-minute break, and then we come back. Could you just say how many of you are okay? Just make thumb up to see how many of you agree with this, just to see it. If we take, 15 minutes, just I want to count how many of you agree with this. What about the remaining? They are silent, that means they don't agree. just make some thumb up just to see it, or just raise your hand. It's good just to see it. Okay, 4, 5. What about the remaining? Okay, 6 here now. Okay, 7. Okay.